Hola guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be ranting about the RTX 4060 Ti 16 gig version. I can't say I'm surprised, but I am disappointed. I saw a hardware unboxes video about this thing last night, where he reviewed the thing, and I discovered that the memory is a clamshell design. Clam or clamp? I don't know. It's a clamshell design where there's memory modules attached on the front side of the PCB as well on the back side of the PCB. Now, I really had a very bad experience with this kind of configuration with my RTX 3090. I just sold it very recently for a very cheap price because I'm really annoyed by its temperature. Now, my computer was a water-cooled design or build, and where I had an active backplate attached to it where, the memory modules on the back are actively cooled, right? Now, all I'm saying is NVIDIA, even the third-party vendors, know if memory modules are actively cooled, it'll give better performance. Why am I saying this? Because most, if not all, graphics cards with the memory modules attached on the front side of the PCB are attached as well to the onto the heatsink together with the GPU. Because if high temperatures for the memory modules aren't that much of a concern, they wouldn't have bothered attaching the memory modules onto the heatsink, right? But as we know, if they're operating on a lower temperature that's necessary, it'll give better performance. Now, with the memory modules on the backside memory modules are attached to the back plate with thermal pads in between. Yeah, that'll be better than not being attached to the back plate. Yeah, but as long as the back plate becomes saturated by temperature, it'll keep on rising even. It'll keep on rising up until it plateaus and throttles the performance. Now, I'm not saying that the RTX 4060, even the 3090, doesn't perform within spec, because they will obviously do. All I'm saying is that'll be lost or wasted performance, right? Now, even though it performs within spec, if you have an option for the memory modules to perform cooler than it could have been, uh, the longevity of the component will be longer. Because even though this thing is rated for 110 degrees Celsius, now if you could find a way to make it operate within, lower than 70-80 degrees Celsius, obviously, guys, they'll perform longer. Now, most of the people who'd be buying this thing are yeah! My mic. Sorry, my lighting dropped. Anyway, most of the people who'd be buying this thing are coming from the RTX 1050 Ti maybe, or an RTX 2060 probably. Now, if you're buying this thing, you're maybe hoping to use this component for like 5-6 years time, right? I'm not saying after a couple of years this thing will break with the back side memory module not being actively cooled. That's not what I'm saying, but that is probable. All I'm saying is that's wasted performance, guys. If the memory modules could operate at a lower temperature, it could perform better. Now, I'm from the Philippines. This thing here will cost between 33 and 37,000 pesos, because if you hit the 40,000 mark, that's RTX 4070 territory. Now, if I'd be buying this for 33,000 pesos and I'm expected to buy an actively cooled backplate for it, which will cost another 6,000, 7,000 pesos. Never mind. I would have just bought the RTX 4070. 3090 at the time, it was performing quite good. I wouldn't have mind, buying or spending additional 5,000 pesos for the active backplate. No problem there. But this thing here is a totally different matter. Just take that into consideration before buying this thing, because a high temperature, a memory junction with a high temperature is something you really need to consider in regards to performance and probably longevity of the component. All right, most probably the people who'd still be buying this thing, even knowing that fact, didn't have experience with a memory module with a clamshell design, or doesn't really care as long as it's performing within spec. Maybe, I hope that's not the case, or similar to my situation, limited to PCI slots availability. Right now, very recently, because I saw hardware unboxed video last night, I just decided to buy an RTX 3070. Now, my computer's build is set up with an RTX 3070, an Intel Arc, and a SATA expansion. Now, if I had a 40 series with an AV1 encoder, I would have been able to save one additional PCI slot, which would have which I would have preferred. I was planning to add in an additional USB expansion card in there, but because of dual GPU design, I lost one PCI slot for the graphics card. Anyway, going back to my graphics card, no? I bought 3070 earlier because of this thing, because of the clamshell design of the 4060. It only costed me 14,000 pesos. I'm from the Philippines, guys. So 14,000 pesos because I needed an AV1 encoder, an additional 9,000 pesos. So that's 23,000 pesos. That's not bad at all. If you compare it to a 33,000 peso 4060 Ti 16 gigabytes. Now, do take in mind, before buying secondhand, I'm really for it, but be very careful. There are scammers out there. I was very recently scammed when I tried to buy an RTX 3050. It's only I was planning to buy it for 9,000 peso. I was going to buy it for 9,000 peso, but I got scammed. So technically, my RTX 3070 costed me 23,000 pesos because of the scam. So just be very careful. It doesn't mean because it's cheap, no one would scam you for it. There are scammers out there who will be after, even for the smallest price. Be very careful. Anyway, I'm really disappointed with this 4060 Ti 16 gigabytes. I plan to make a video content out of it, and as well as use it for my media server slash living room gaming computer. But with a clamshell design, guys, no, I'm out. That won't work. I had my very annoying experience with the RTX 3090. I hope you don't get to experience that. But if you're still decided into buying this thing, even after knowing that, might please try considering into waiting more reviews coming out with maybe Gamers Nexus, or maybe if Steve from Hardware Unboxed, if you're watching this video, please if you're watching this video, please do try to discuss the impact of memory junction temperature in your next video. And yeah, Oh, and by the way, this is my 100th video. Nothing special, apparently. Oh, and by the way, just the thought just came to me. Now I understand why even Nvidia nor the third-party vendors aren't even promoting this 16 GB version. Now I really understand why. Anyway, I hope you guys still enjoy this video. I do hope I was able to somehow talk someone out into buying this video card. And yeah, but still, hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.